The comfort zone. The first enemy of progress is the comfort zone, and it is the most dangerous one because it doesn't look like an enemy. It feels familiar, it feels safe, it feels reasonable. The comfort zone doesn't shout at you, it whispers. It tells you that what you're doing is good enough, that you don't need to push today, that tomorrow will always be there waiting. And slowly, without pain or resistance, it convinces you to stop growing. The comfort zone is where routines go unquestioned and habits go unchallenged. It's where you wake up, do what you've always done, and wonder why nothing ever changes. You may not be unhappy, but you're not fulfilled either. You may not be failing, but you're not winning. You're surviving, not progressing. And survival, while it feels safe, quietly steals your potential. Every meaningful improvement in life begins with discomfort. Growth demands a stretch. The moment you decide to earn more, you must learn more. The moment you decide to become healthier, you must change how you eat and move. The moment you decide to grow as a person, you must challenge beliefs that once felt comfortable. Comfort never produces transformation. Discomfort does. Think about it. Every skill you now have once felt awkward. Every strength you now rely on once felt difficult. The comfort zone tries to convince you that staying the same is harmless, but staying the same in a changing world means falling behind. Progress requires you to leave the familiar and step into uncertainty, even when you don't feel ready, especially when you don't feel ready. The comfort zone rewards consistency without improvement. It says, at least you tried, instead of asking, did you give it your best? It encourages settling for average when excellence is possible. And the longer you stay there, the harder it becomes to leave because comfort dulls ambition. The fire that once pushed you forward slowly fades, replaced by routine and repetition. If you want progress, you must learn to feel comfortable being uncomfortable. You must train yourself to recognize discomfort not as danger, but as a sign of growth. The life you want does not exist inside the walls of convenience. It exists just beyond them. Enemy number 2, procrastination. The second enemy of progress is procrastination, and it is far more destructive than most people realize. Procrastination is not about time management, it's about decision avoidance. It's the habit of delaying the actions that matter most while convincing yourself you'll get to them later. Procrastination doesn't say no to your goals, it says not now, and that makes it incredibly convincing. Procrastination steals progress quietly. There's no dramatic failure, no sudden collapse. Instead, there's delay, and delay compounds. 1 day turns into 1 week. 1 week turns into 1 year. And 1 year later, you're standing in the same place, wondering why nothing changed. The tragedy of procrastination is not what it does to your schedule, it's what it does to your confidence. Every time you delay an important action, you reinforce a habit of avoidance. You teach yourself that comfort is more important than commitment. Over time, this weakens your belief in yourself. You start doubting your ability to follow through, and that doubt becomes another excuse to delay even more. Procrastination creates a cycle where inaction feeds fear, and fear feeds more inaction. Most people wait to feel motivated before they act, but motivation is not the starting point, it's the result. Action creates momentum. Action creates clarity. You don't need the perfect plan to begin, you need the courage to take the first step. Progress favors those who act imperfectly over those who wait perfectly. Procrastination often disguises itself as preparation. You tell yourself you're researching, planning, or waiting for the right moment. But the right moment rarely arrives on its own. It is created by action. The longer you wait, the heavier the task feels. What could have been done easily yesterday now feels overwhelming today. Small actions done immediately are far more powerful than big intentions delayed indefinitely. Progress is built through consistent movement, not dramatic bursts of effort. When you choose action over delay, even in small ways, you reclaim control over your future. Each completed task strengthens your self-trust and builds momentum that carries you forward. Procrastination doesn't disappear on its own. It must be confronted with decision and discipline. The moment you stop negotiating with yourself and start acting, progress begins to breathe again. Fear of failure. The third enemy of progress is fear of failure, and it has stopped more dreams than lack of ability ever could. Fear doesn't come to destroy you openly. it comes to protect you, or at least that's what it pretends to do. It says, be careful. What if this doesn't work? What if you embarrass yourself? What if people judge you? And in trying to save you from pain, it traps you in inaction. Fear of failure keeps you playing small. It convinces you to lower your goals so you won't be disappointed. It pushes you to stay silent instead of speaking up, to stay hidden instead of stepping forward. You start choosing safety over growth, certainty over possibility, and slowly, the life you could have lived becomes the life you only imagined. What makes fear so powerful is that it feels logical. It gives you reasonable excuses to wait, to delay, to stay where you are. But fear is rarely about the failure itself. It's about the meaning you attach to it. You're not afraid of failing. You're afraid of what failing might say about you. Afraid it will prove you're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough. And so, to avoid that pain, you avoid the attempt altogether. But failure is not a verdict on your worth. It is feedback. It is education. Every successful person has failed more times than most people have tried. Progress does not come from getting it right the first time. It comes from being willing to be wrong long enough to learn what works. The only people who never fail are those who never move. Fear shrinks when you face it. The first step is always the hardest because it challenges the story you've been telling yourself. But once you act, even imperfectly, fear begins to lose its grip. Confidence is not built by waiting, it is built by doing. Each attempt, regardless of the outcome, strengthens you. Each effort expands what you believe is possible. The cost of fear is far greater than the cost of failure. Failure may sting for a moment, but fear steals years. It steals opportunities, growth, and self-respect. The question is never whether you will fail. The question is whether you will allow fear to decide your future for you. Lack of discipline. The fourth enemy of progress is lack of discipline, and it is the silent killer of potential. Discipline is not glamorous. It doesn't feel exciting or inspiring in the moment. Discipline is doing what needs to be done long after the excitement fades, and that is exactly why so many people struggle with it. Without discipline, goals remain wishes. You can have the best intentions, the clearest vision, and the strongest desire, but without disciplined action, nothing changes. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes based on mood, energy, and circumstances. Discipline, on the other hand, is a decision to act regardless of how you feel. Lack of discipline shows up in small ways: skipping the workout, delaying the task, choosing comfort over commitment. These choices don't seem significant in the moment, but they compound over time. Each undisciplined action weakens your self-trust. You start doubting your ability to follow through, and that doubt becomes another obstacle to progress. Discipline is not about being harsh with yourself, it's about respecting your future. It's choosing long-term rewards over short-term pleasure. It's understanding that every small, consistent action is a vote for the person you want to become. You don't need extreme discipline, you need consistent discipline. Progress is built on daily habits, not occasional effort. The discipline to read a few pages each day, the discipline to practice when no one is watching, the discipline to show up even when results are slow. These small actions shape your identity. Over time, you don't just do disciplined actions, you become a disciplined person. The most powerful form of discipline is keeping promises to yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, you strengthen your confidence. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken it. Discipline restores belief, not through words, but through action. And belief is fuel for progress. Lack of discipline doesn't ruin lives overnight. It quietly delays them. It keeps people stuck in cycles of starting and stopping, excited and disappointed. Discipline breaks that cycle by creating momentum, and momentum makes progress inevitable. Negative influences. The fifth enemy of progress is negative influences, and this enemy is subtle because it often comes disguised as familiarity. These are the voices you hear every day, the environments you spend time in, the conversations that shape how you think without you even realizing it. Progress does not happen in isolation, and neither does stagnation. You are constantly being influenced, either pushed forward or pulled backward. Negative influences don't always come from bad people. Sometimes they come from well-meaning individuals who have settled for less and want you to do the same so they feel comfortable with their own choices. They question your ambition. They joke about your goals. They warn you not to aim too high or take life too seriously. Over time, these comments begin to sound like wisdom, but in reality, they are fear speaking through familiar voices. The environment you choose shapes the expectations you accept. If you surround yourself with people who complain, you will begin to see problems everywhere. If you surround yourself with people who make excuses, excuses will start to feel reasonable. What you hear repeatedly becomes what you believe, and what you believe determines how far you go. Negative influences also include what you feed your mind. The content you consume daily, news, social media, conversations, either strengthens your thinking or weakens it. Constant negativity drains energy. It convinces you that success is rare, that effort doesn't matter, and that progress is reserved for others. Over time, this mindset lowers your standards and dulls your drive. Protecting your mind is not arrogance, it is self-respect. Progress requires you to be intentional about who you listen to and what you allow to shape your thoughts. You don't need to cut everyone out of your life, but you do need to decide whose opinions deserve weight. Choose voices that challenge you to grow, not those that encourage you to stay the same. Excuses and blame. The sixth and most destructive enemy of progress is excuses and blame. This enemy feels comforting because it removes responsibility. When you blame circumstances, people, or the past, you temporarily avoid discomfort. But in doing so, you also give away your power. Progress begins the moment excuses end. Excuses come in many forms. I don't have time. I'm not ready. I would, but... Each excuse sounds reasonable on its own, but together they build a wall between you and your potential. Excuses keep you focused on what you can't control instead of what you can. And as long as your focus is outside yourself, progress remains out of reach. Blame keeps you stuck in the past. It replays old mistakes and unfair situations, convincing you that your future is limited by what has already happened. But your past may explain where you are. It does not get to decide where you go. Responsibility is not about fault, it is about ownership. When you take ownership, you reclaim control. The moment you stop blaming and start taking responsibility, everything changes. You stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You begin asking better questions. What can I do today? What's the next small step? Those questions move your life forward. Progress is not reserved for the lucky or the gifted. It belongs to those who choose responsibility over excuses, growth over comfort, and action over fear. Every enemy of progress loses its power the moment you decide to rise above it. Your life does not change by chance. It changes by choice. And the choices you make today will determine the story you tell tomorrow. If you are willing to confront these enemies, to challenge them daily, and to keep moving forward even when it's difficult, then progress is no longer something you hope for. It becomes something you create.